Hey weekdays, it's Tuesday. Really my first question for the day was, what video do I make? One of those days when I had a bunch of ideas and none of them really came to fruition. Apologize, this wind is probably gonna sound really horrible on the video, but whatever. As long as you can hear my voice, right? So I finally hit on this question. What does it mean to have a love relationship with God? Now, this question has been answered for me many times. I've asked the question of people, I've discussed it with people, I've read books, seen videos, all on the topic of having a love relationship with God, but I still wonder what exactly it means. I mean, the two words imply that I am supposed to have a relationship with God, okay? We relate, and that relationship is based upon love. So, what is a relationship? What is love? That, I guess, would answer the question, if we answer those two questions first. Mostly I've been wondering how to love God in a relationship. The Bible says to love God is to obey His commands. Is that it though? Because I think someone can do what God commands with the wrong motives, not because it's what God commands, but because for other reasons, and I don't think that's love. So it seems like that the reasoning is circular, if you think of it that way, like, well, our actions should be motivated by love, and our love is our actions. So, I don't know. Doesn't seem complete. I'm also wondering, does love exist outside of emotion completely? Is emotion just kind of like icing on the cake? You don't need it at all to have a love relationship with God? You don't have to feel anything ever for there to be a love relationship with God. I mean, I feel emotion for other people when I have a love relationship with them. Now, the definition of love that I've come to understand is that it's being more concerned about Him than ourselves. So the beginning of this love for God is doing His commands and caring more about Him than about ourselves. So doing God's commands for ourselves is not a love relationship, it's not love. And then the relationship part also seems a little weird to me because, I mean, God is always going to fulfill His part of the relationship. So it seems almost one-sided, or there's only one factor, and that's me. Which sounds wrong, because it sounds self-centered, but I mean, God never breaks His promises, He never stops loving, so I'm the one who decides whether the relationship exists, I guess. Whether it's two-sided, goes both ways. To have a love relationship with God, I have to make a choice to be focused on Him, and because I care more about Him than myself, in fact, ultimately, hopefully, in an ideal, perfect relationship, I care only about Him, then I do what He commands because I love Him, because I care more about Him than I do myself. Unfortunately, I don't live many of my personal human relationships like that. I don't love like that with most, if all, people. Sad. So, the relationship part and the love part come together in that God is fulfilling the love part constantly. Somehow, even though He's perfect and He has a right to be more concerned with Himself, He somehow exhibits the perfection of loving us. So loving us that He's so concerned about us that I guess He's not concerned with Himself, which I find hard to believe. But that's what would make God perfect. I guess. Wonder about that. Do you think that? Does perfection and perfect love mean God doesn't care about himself? I mean, Jesus certainly seemed to be the perfect image of humility, and he was God's nature. He was incarnate, but he was who God is. He is who God is. How do I have a love relationship with God? I guess I make a choice to reciprocate what he's giving me, that non-stop perfect love. And that not caring about ourselves, we are both completely engaged in one another. He serves me and I serve him. But is it really a one-to-one ratio? It seems like God's relationship must be different. Because he is all-powerful and perfect and infinite, isn't my... I don't know, he's so much more incredible and perfect than I am. There's no scale that can show, no graph that can show me and then him. He's infinite, I'm finite. So, and yet, through Jesus, he is brought to our level. Paradoxes. Wow. Does anyone have any more insights into this? I'm sure you do, and I would love it if you could discuss them. This project is not supposed to be one-sided either, you know. It's supposed to be a relationship. Relationship of discussion. And questions. Maybe answers. So, I hope this gives you something to think about, and I hope in return you reciprocate that and give me something to think about, if you could. Thanks. Have a good day.